The MotoGP world has once again been thrown into an unforeseen scenario, shaking the euphoria of a freshly clinched world title. Just when Marc Marquez, the 2025 MotoGP world champion, ought to have been savouring his return to glory with a glittering season closer, a momentous and tough call had to be made. Marc Marquez is confirmed to sit out the remainder of the 2025 campaign, including the all-important Valencia test. This isn't merely another injury bulletin. It's a resounding affirmation of long-term priorities, a calculated move taken by the baby alien alongside his Ducati Lenovo squad to ensure his spectacular 2025 comeback rolls on in peak form come 2026. Marquez's absence from Valencia, the curtain-closing race everyone looks forward to, not only dims the sparkle of the showdown, but also underscores the team's ethos of putting rider welfare above bike development, as stressed by Ducati Lenovo team manager Davide Tardozzi. The decision has sent shockwaves through the paddock, forcing teams to adapt and fans to exercise patience. Before we dive deeper into the reasons behind this call, the implications for the Ducati GP26, and how it reshapes the power map heading into 2026, make sure you've smashed that like button and subscribe to our channel. Don't miss our in-depth breakdowns of every twist and turn in the MotoGP drama. The 2025 MotoGP season has been a heroic chapter of resurrection for Marc Marquez. After years of struggle with Honda, his arrival at Ducati, even starting in the satellite Gresini outfit, proved his talent remains unmatched. The pinnacle came when he sealed his 7th Premier Class World crown, 9th overall, in a nail-biting race in Japan. Yet, scarcely had he toasted the crown when fate dealt another blow. The incident unfolded at the Indonesian Grand Prix in Mandalika. On the opening lap, Marquez tangled with Aprilia's Marco Bezzecchi. Both riders went down, but the fallout was far graver for Marquez. He sustained a shoulder injury to his right side, including a cracked coracoid bone and ligament damage. Initial medical checks in Madrid, Spain, offered a glimmer of hope that the injury might heal without surgery. However, unsatisfactory clinical progress over the following week forced Marquez under the knife. Surgery was duly performed, and though recovery has reportedly progressed positively, the pace of physical healing hasn't kept up with the unforgiving remainder of the 2025 MotoGP calendar. The Australian and Malaysian rounds were already ruled out, with the final hope pinned on a return at Valencia, the season finale. That hope has now vanished. On Thursday, the 23rd of October, 2025, the Ducati Lenovo team officially announced that Marc Marquez will not race again in 2025. The statement covers his absence from the final 2 rounds, the Valencia Community Grand Prix, plus the crucial post-season test at the same circuit. The medical team monitoring Marquez's healing confirmed that the clinical evolution of the coracoid fracture and ligament injury is positive and normal. Yet there's one vital caveat. Marc must undergo 4 weeks of full arm immobilization before commencing rehabilitation. After analysing the entire situation, we're convinced that the wisest, most sensible, and consistent course is to respect the biological timing of the injury's recovery, even if it means "I won't race again this season or attend the test session," Marquez said in his statement. He added that a grueling winter lies ahead, packed with hard graft to rebuild his muscle to 100% and be race-ready for 2026. Marquez also stressed that the world title already in the bag mustn't be forgotten, and a proper celebration will follow soon. The decision enjoys full backing from Ducati. Ducati Course General Manager Gigi Dall'Igna stated, "From the moment we learned the diagnosis, we knew Marc's chances of appearing at Valencia, whether for the Grand Prix or the test, were slim. It's a real shame because having him on track would have been hugely valuable, but we're crystal clear that his priority is recovery and returning 100% fit for next season. We fully support this decision and are certain that avoiding further risk is the best choice for everyone." One of the most pivotal aspects of the news is Marc Marquez's absence from the Valencia test, scheduled immediately after the final race. This shakedown is traditionally the first chance for riders to sample next year's prototype machinery, in this case, the Ducati GP26. Ducati Lenovo team principal Davide Tardozzi offered crystal clear insight, a reassuring voice amid the team's disappointment. Tardozzi insisted that Marc Marquez's recovery is more important than testing the new bike at Valencia. It's a pity we won't have Marc there at the Valencia test, but what matters most is that he recovers 100% from his injury, Tardozzi said during an interview amid FP1 in Sepang, Malaysia. Tardozzi's words reflect the maturity and long-term vision of the factory Ducati outfit. Having Marquez at the Valencia test, especially with his priceless input on bike development, would have been a massive boost. He's the rider who adapted flawlessly to the Desmosedici GP25, racking up pole positions, sprint races and Grand Prix wins, even leading the standings by a comfortable margin. His feedback on the GP26, particularly after technical gremlins reported by other Ducati riders in the second half of 2025, would have been gold dust. Yet sacrificing Marquez's full recovery for a single day of testing, risking aggravation or delayed rehab, simply isn't an option. Ducati, via Tardozzi, has chosen to prioritize the health of their star rider. They recognize that a 100% fit Marc Marquez at the start of 2026 is worth far more than a smidgen of extra data from Valencia. This is a long-term investment in sustaining Ducati's dominance, now so heavily reliant on Marquez's prowess. Marquez's absence carries significant short and long-term ramifications. 1. A lackluster finale. The last 2 rounds of MotoGP 2025 will feel flat. Though the title is secured, Marquez's presence always promises fireworks. His absence dulls the spectacle. 2. Stand-ins in the paddock. Ducati will lean on a replacement rider for the remainder of the season, most likely test rider Michele Pirro, who already stood in for Marquez in Australia and Malaysia. However, whispers suggest a different substitute for the European Grand Prix. 3. Limited GP26 data. Marquez missing the Valencia test means Ducati loses developmental insight from their top dog. Early data gathered by the other factory riders, Francesco Bagnaia and others, depending on contracts, may lack the depth without Marquez's comparisons and feedback. 1. Maximum recovery. Opting to sit out is the smartest, most consistent way to ensure Marquez enters 2026 in peak physical nick. Given shoulder woes have haunted his career before, this caution is key to preventing recurrence. 2. A brutal winter. Marquez himself acknowledges the tough off-season ahead, crammed with rehab to restore full muscle power. It underlines his total commitment to reclaiming peak form next year. 3. Ducati's 2026 threat. If Marquez returns 100% fit, with his full factory contract intact, he remains the grid's biggest menace. This bitter pill now will yield sweet rewards when 2026 kicks off. Marc Marquez and Ducati's decision to call time early on 2025 is a valuable lesson for professional sport. Biological healing timelines must be respected above the demands of competition. The champion has his crown, and now the focus shifts entirely to the future. Drop your thoughts in the comments.